Today I'm making the iced pumpkin spice latte my wife and I actually drink at home. We blend all the main ingredients so the spices dissolve, then pour over ice for that silky finish. A taste of fall that's strong, creamy, and Starbucks inspired. Alright, let's get started. We're going to kick things off by brewing a double shot of espresso. Or if you like your drinks on the sweeter side, use a single shot. But if you don't have an espresso machine, no worries. You can brew a quarter cup of very strong coffee instead. I highly recommend getting an espresso machine if you don't have one. We bought ours during COVID, and it's one of the few things that kept us relatively sane. There's a reason we make the espresso on the first step. This will give it a chance to cool, especially with this being an iced recipe. So when you have your espresso or coffee ready, go ahead and add it to the fridge. We'll let it chill while we move on to the next step. For the next step, we'll need 3 tablespoons of pumpkin puree. Year-round, you can find it online or in the baking aisle of most grocery stores. I've also seen it called 100% pure pumpkin. Another option in the fall is to buy a pumpkin and make your own puree. No matter which option you go with, when you have your 3 tablespoons of puree ready, go ahead and add it to your blender. Alright, now that it's added, we're ready for the next ingredient. And guess what? It's even more fall flavor. It's 1/2 teaspoon of pumpkin spice. Once again, you can buy pumpkin spice in the baking aisle, or you can make your own. I've added a recipe for the homemade version in the video description. That's also where I put the full ingredients list for this entire recipe. Alright, now that you have your 1/2 teaspoon of pumpkin spice ready, go ahead and add it to your blender. And next up, it's time to add a little sweetness. We'll need 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. It helps add deeper, sweeter flavors. Alright, when you have your 1 tablespoon of maple syrup ready, go ahead and add it to your blender. And next up is one of my favorite ingredients. It's 1 tablespoon of vanilla syrup. This is the small batch vanilla syrup we make ourselves in-house with Madagascar vanilla beans. We've actually been selling out pretty quickly, so check out our Lone Goose Bakery site if you're interested. But no matter which brand you choose, please go with one that uses natural vanilla beans. It really does make a difference. When you have your 1 tablespoon of vanilla syrup ready, go ahead and add it to your blender. Alright, on to the next step. And the next ingredient is 1.5 cups of milk. This time I use skim milk, but you can also use 2% milk or whole milk instead. Non-dairy options like oat or almond milk work great as well. It really is just up to your preference. Alright, when you have your 1.5 cups of milk ready, go ahead and add it to your blender. Everything is coming together nicely, and we're down to the last ingredient before blending. It's time to bring back an old friend. Let's reach into our fridge and pull out our double shot of espresso. By now it should have had plenty of time to cool. So now it won't melt the ice. When you have your espresso or coffee ready, go ahead and add it to your blender. Now your mixture should look something like this. Now that we've finished with all the ingredients, let's add the lid to our blender. Make sure the lid is secure so you don't end up with a huge mess. Unfortunately, I learned from experience. Next, blend the mixture for approximately 1 minute. And while the pumpkin mixture is blending, it's a great time for our quick goose fact. When one goose finds a great feeding spot in the fall, it honks to call over the rest of the flock. And just like the geese, now is the perfect time to subscribe to join our flock and let other viewers know to join us. As you can see, we're small but growing quickly. Now back to our recipe. After our pumpkin mixture has finished blending for approximately 1 minute, we're ready for the next step. Grab your serving glass and fill it with ice. This is a standard 16-ounce serving glass, and I filled it with approximately 1.5 cups of ice. One huge tip is to make sure to allow a few minutes for the foam bubbles in the blender to dissolve. Then you're ready to slowly add the mixture to your serving glass. Alright, our iced pumpkin spice latte is looking great. So now we're ready to add our topping. And we're going to go with one that's quick and delicious. I like to start off the topping with a little bit of whipped cream. Just use a circular motion to make sure it's applied evenly. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Alright, this would taste great as is, but I like to add a little bit more pumpkin flavor. So grab your pumpkin spice from earlier and add a little bit to the top of the whipped cream. And now you've done it! Your iced pumpkin spice latte is ready to enjoy. It really does taste as good as it looks. And while you're sipping your latte, my son made some fall-themed artwork for you to enjoy. If you've watched our other videos, you know my kids take turns making artwork for our recipes. We hope you like it. Now that you've finished this refreshing iced pumpkin spice latte, you need an option for a delicious fall-themed topping. Check out our pumpkin cream cold foam recipe, and I'll see you there.